morning, everyone. While you're taking your seats, we're going to play our 8 Principles video.
The Unitarian Universalist Church of Pensacola, the 8 Principles.
Number 1, the inherent worth and dignity of every person.
Number 2, justice, equity, and compassion in human relation.
Number 3, acceptance of one another and encouragement to spiritual growth in our congregation.
Number 4, a free and responsible search for truth and meaning.
Number 5, the right of conscience and the use of democratic process within our congregation and in society at large.
Number 6, the goal of world community with peace, liberty, and justice for all.
Number 7, respect for the interdependent web of existence,
of which we are all a part.
Number 8, active commitment to dismantle racism and other oppression in ourselves and our institutions.
We're good. Good morning and welcome, everyone. Morning. How are we? I'm Mary Beth. I'm your service leader for today. My pronouns are she and her. We are so happy to have you. It's a full house, which is super exciting. I love all the faces, all the new faces. I think there are going to be faces online, so welcome to those faces as well. If this is your first time, hopefully you were greeted at the door by one of our lovely greeters and given a pamphlet with our church information. If not, let me know, or you can grab one on your way out, or you can go to our website, uupensacola.org. It has everything you could possibly need to know about our church, about the UU community in general, all the things that are going on in our community and around the world. So, yeah, check that out. And again, if you're new with us, thank you. Thank you for choosing us. I always like to say that you're home. If you didn't know that, newsflash, this is your new home. If you've been looking for a community that is loving and accepting, we're it. So welcome home. And if you're rejoining us, welcome back. I'm going to take a minute and remind everybody to turn off their cell phones and anything that makes noises. We have a great service today, as per usual. So I don't want any distractions. So if you could do that, that would be great. Just a quick note about our services is we are lay-led. We don't have like a regular minister. We have lots of different speakers all throughout the year from within our community and our Pensacola community. We have speakers sometimes that come from different states, and so just a lot of different perspectives, which I think is super cool. So today, if it's not your cup of tea, next week will be, so just come back. But it's going to be a good service. He's our speaker. And he's also our president. So little spoiler alert here on stage. Yes, always good. Okay, we have quite a few announcements, so buckle up. First, we have a couple things going on after service. Now, this is something that happens every Sunday after service. We meet just around this corner. Michael Newcomb and his group of bakers and team, they always make little snacks and goodies for us. We have water and coffee, and it's just a time to socialize with our community. So please, when we're done, go just around the corner, grab you some yummies and some coffee, and get to know your community. And then after that, we have 2 things following. In the library, the CRE, which is our Children's Religious Education program, is having a parents meeting. Again, that's in the lobby, so 11:30-ish. Thank you, library. Yes, so it's a parents meeting, but anybody who would like to volunteer and help with the kids program, that would be great. And then, yeah, if you have questions, you can see Laura Keith King just here up front. So that's the Children's Religious Education program in the library. in the sanctuary here. So after you get your snacks, there will be a second hour presenting our church bylaws in the sanctuary here. An ad hoc committee appointed by our governing board has been working on for the last several months, actually, been working on revising our bylaws. The committee members will be walking through the proposed revisions, and I think they sent an email out this week, so hopefully you guys have had a chance to review that if you get an email. If not, sign up for the email, and you can get all of the announcements. So that's today after service. Wednesday is the lunch bunch. So it's just a group of people, random people. If they have time, they meet at a restaurant. This week, it's at Siam Thai, which is at the new location. It's no longer attached to the gas station / car wash. It's a lovely new restaurant or building, you know. So that's this Wednesday at 1 p.m. You don't need a reservation, but if you have any questions, you can see Hugh Ed Turner there. And he'll let you know of that. But that's this Wednesday, 1 p.m., Siam Thai. It's my favorite Thai place, by the way. Come celebrate Earth Day. I'm going to tape this up in the lobby somewhere, but we're going to it's at Bayview Park. I think it's like a regular thing that they've been doing for years and years and years. So it's Saturday, April 19th, from 10 to 4 at Bayview Park. And then the information is here, and like I said, I'll tape it up in the lobby. So, if you're interested and want to celebrate our community and Earth Day, please show up. We usually have a good group from our church. So, any questions? Yeah, there's Rick there, and I know he always attends. Okay, a few more. Take me out to the Blue Wahoos game, Sunday, April 27th. It's a 1 p.m. afternoon game. So tickets are $17, and you have to sign up by April 20th. You can sign up online. The link is on our church email or website, or you can sign up in the lobby. There's a cork board back there. If money's an issue, no problem. We'll take care of it. But we would love for you guys to come. We had a good group last year, and we'll probably do a second game in September as well. So if you can't make this one, don't cry, we'll do another one. But hopefully you can come to that, and it's a lot of fun. And if you have any questions, see me. And then in May, we also have a couple of other fun and fellowship events, bowling and something else. Oh, dinner and a derby. We have a roller derby team, a West Florida roller derby team. So we're going to do dinner and then the roller derby match. Super fun. But yeah, if you have any questions about that, see me again. It's on our website and emails. Next week is Sunday Sweets. This is a fundraiser that we do once a month. It's usually the second Sunday of every month, and it's homemade stuff. There will be no store-bought. It's all delicious. It's all phenomenal. And new guests get a free piece. So come back, bring a friend, and bring some cash. Okay, we're looking for a new team member for our CRE classes, somebody to help out with the children. So we've been looking for a little bit, just haven't had the luck, so we're still looking for that someone. It is a paid position, and all the details are on our website or our Facebook page. If you know somebody or you yourself are interested, you could see Honor in the back there, or Laura Keith King as well, and they can give you information about that. Okay, last one. A rally for Just Pensacola, all caps J-U-S-T. On this Tuesday, April 8th at 6 p.m. at St. Christopher's Church, which is on 12th Avenue, Just Pensacola will have a rally to prepare for the Nehemiah Action on May the 6th. At the rally, we review progress and prepare for our big ask for justice. And this is a local organization, non-for-profit. If you're not familiar with this, you can see Paula Montgomery here, and she can give you the details about that. So we need to find out how many to expect for the Nehemiah Action in May. So if you plan to bring friends and family, it is time to confirm with them and make sure they are registered. If you volunteered, if you were one of those people that volunteered to call 9 people from our congregation to invite them to the Nehemiah Action, please have them register and give Paula or a team leader the number of how many you have confirmed. Raise your hand if you're Paula or a team leader. We have there's Lauren in the back, Paula and Barb and Penny, Nancy. They're everywhere. Just ask someone. And so some of you are already registered for the rally and the Nehemiah Action, but if you are not, it is super easy. You go to justpensacola.org/events and fill out the form. And again, see Paula if you have any questions. A great organization, that is hugely important, makes a difference, and something we need now more than ever, I think. Okay. That's all the announcements. Thank you so much for your time and attention. Let's turn to our neighbors and just, wholeheartedly, sincerely say, hey, we're gonna be okay. I think that sounded convincing. Okay. I'm going to ask Joe if he'll help me light our chalice lighting. This is something we do every Sunday and is part of the UU service. These words are by Betty A. Dottie. And it says, "Glory be to the earth and the wind. Glory be to the sun and the rain. Glory be to animals and children. Glory be to our holy flame, which calls us together as one." And I think we could also use some centering time. Let's take some deep breaths as Mike and the musicians play a little bit of centering music. Pray if you want to, breathe if you need to, cry if you need to, but this would be a good time for that. I'm going to invite the choir up and musicians, and we'll have some opening words, and then we'll sing together. Elizabeth Tarbox is the writer of our opening words here. And so I say, ours is a story of faith and hope and love. I say it is our need for one another that binds us together, that brings us laughing and limping into relationships, and keeps us at it when we otherwise might despair at the fix we are in. I say it is the holy we need, the eternal beyond our comprehension, and one place we can find it is here, working and worshiping together. And I say there is a transcendent value worthy of our loyalty, upon which we may set our hearts, and its divine manifestation is love. And choir, if you'll come, and if you are willing and able to stand and sing with us, the words will be on here. There's also some words, I believe, that were set, on the ends of your rows. But stand and sing, and we'll sing Draw the Circle Wide together. And stay standing afterwards for our covenant. Well done. If you'll stay standing, we'll say our covenant, which will be here. Together, if you'll say, love is the spirit of this church, and service its law. This is our covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. Thank you. You may be seated. This is our time of joys and sorrows. For those of you who are new, we take a moment to light a candle for something that you're celebrating, something that you're mourning, and we want to celebrate or mourn with you. We want to support you as a community. This is not aired online. It's just here for this service, so it's not recorded. And so if you do want to share something with us, please just line up on either side here, state your name, and then briefly what you would like to share with us. I will say we'll light the first candle for just as a blanket candle to cover everything that's going on in the world. It's a big fat candle. I know it's a massive flame that we need right now. But just to save time, we will. This candle is all encompassing what's going on in the world. But again, if you want to share something personal with us, just line up on either side and briefly share with that. But I'll go ahead and light our first big candle. children out. Can we get a note? Go now in peace, go now in joy. May the spirit of love surround you everywhere, everywhere you may go. Thank you. That was lovely. So this is the time every church has. It's our offertory time. So for those of you who are new, I said we were lay-led community. We're also solely member-funded. So we're not connected to, a bigger organization. So we run on you all, on your time and your talent and your treasure. We would take any of that gladly. Now is the time where we're taking some of your treasure if you're willing and able to give. So we'll have our ushers pass around a basket, and while they do that, there's some information here. You can text to give, you can mail in a check, or you can do what I think most of our members and friends do, which is give online. They set up a direct deposit. So if you're interested in doing that, see me afterwards and I can help you with that. But we have some special music for you while we pass around the offertory baskets. Dona nobis pacem pacem, dona nobis 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 pacem pacem, dona nobis 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 pacem. Thank you all so much. This is just a peek of how wonderful our choir is. If you're interested in joining, please see Laura Keith King. Okay. Now on to the good stuff. Our speaker has kind of already been introduced, but he's our president here at UUCP. Please help me welcome Joe Vinson.
Hi everyone, Joe Vinson, he, him pronouns. I don't know if we have any Severance fans in the audience, but someone shared this photo, which is spoiler from the finale, and said this is my energy for the rest of 2025, and I liked it. And I know what you're thinking. Omelas? With these egg prices? We'll get to that in a little bit. But speaking of eggs, we're just 2 weeks from Easter. And as you may know, last week we had a couple of exchange students from Japan stay with us. And they noticed all the candy, Easter candy in stores, and they asked why Easter is a popular holiday in America. I told them, well, it's when Christians believe that Jesus came back to life after being executed. And they gasped. I guess that part of the story doesn't really make it, doesn't get told a lot over there. But yes, in Christianity, the crucifixion is understood to be the necessary sacrifice for the eventual salvation of humanity. This is the linchpin of Christian theology, as every child who ever had to memorize John 3:16 knows. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish but have everlasting life. John also called Jesus the Lamb of God who takes away the sins of the world. For early Christians, this was understood in the context of animal sacrifice in Temple Judaism, where a young lamb or a goat was sacrificed for various rituals, but particularly for the Passover Seder, the Korban Pesach, and Yom Kippur. On the Day of Atonement, the high priest was permitted to enter the Holy of Holies, the room in the temple in which the Spirit of God lived, for the purpose of this sacrifice. And this comes from Scripture, Leviticus 16, where God gave instructions to Moses for his brother Aaron. There we go. And Aaron, quote, "And Aaron shall cast lots upon the 2 goats, one lot for Adonai, and the other lot for Azazel. And Aaron shall present the goat upon which the lot fell for Adonai, and offer him for a sin offering." In other words, the goat is sacrificed. "But the goat on which the lot fell for Azazel, Aaron shall lay both his hands upon the head of the live goat, and confess over him all the iniquities of the children of Israel, and all their transgressions, even all their sins. And he shall put them upon the head of the goat, and shall send him away into the wilderness. And the goat shall bear upon him all their iniquities unto a land which is cut off, and he shall let go the goat in the wilderness." You might be thinking, of the 2 goats, I'd rather be the second one, just released into the wilderness. But typically they would push it off a cliff and kill it so that it wouldn't find its way back to town. The etymology of the word Azazel is unclear. Some believe that Azazel was the name of a demon or fallen angel, as he was in the apocryphal book of Enoch, who lived in the desert and would be appeased by this goat. Or it might have been the name of the cliff from which the goat was pushed. Others, like those who translated the Greek Septuagint, believed it was related to the Hebrew verbal root for remove or depart. And that's what William Tyndale was using for his 1530 English translation of the Bible when he coined the word scapegoat, or the goat that escapes. The Synoptic Gospels make clear the relationship between the animal sacrifice of Yom Kippur and the sacrifice of Jesus. Mark, Matthew, and Luke all have this kind of cinematic cutaway at the moment when Jesus dies. Quote, "At that moment, the veil of the temple was torn in 2 from top to bottom. The curtain blocking the Holy of Holies, where only the high priest could go for the sacrifice, the thing separating God from the people, that was rent in twain." The Epistle to the Hebrews reaffirms this, quote, "Therefore, brothers, since we have confidence to enter the most holy place by the blood of Jesus, by the new and living way opened for us through the curtain of his body." Jesus was both the blood sacrifice and the scapegoat. Generations of Christians have wrestled with this idea, especially as ritual animal sacrifice became less common in society. Growing up in a Southern Baptist church, my kind of metaphysical understanding was that sin was this amorphous, fourth-dimensional stuff. I pictured kind of an evil black goo, like the Tim Curry character from Fern Gully, that sticks to our souls and is somehow incompatible with heaven. For whatever reason, to cleanse us of this black goo, God couldn't just forgive our sins. There needed to be a sacrifice for atonement, and God sent his Son to serve as that sacrifice. The theological implications of this didn't fully hit me as a child. If God is omnipotent, why does he need to sacrifice his Son? Wouldn't that make sin more powerful than God? But I distinctly remember the conceptual guilt that when Jesus was suffering on the cross, it wasn't just the physical pain of crucifixion that he felt, but also the overwhelming weight of all that sin, including my own. Every time I told a lie or disobeyed my parents, another drop of black goo was sent back in time to that particular Friday in Anno Domini 33, and it made Jesus' suffering just a little bit worse. Being good, then, was a kind of wibbly-wobbly, timey-wimey way of minimizing the pain that we caused Jesus. I no longer believe this idea of sin, and I think it's a pretty traumatic thing to put on a kid, or an adult for that matter, but as a literary device, it's great. In the book series His Dark Materials by Philip Pullman, sin is reconceptualized as dust. Instead of a black goo, it's dark matter. It's a kind of luminous celestial material related to consciousness that clings to humans when they reach puberty. Scapegoats also have a rich literary history, someone who suffers punishment as a proxy for someone else. The tributes in The Hunger Games, Tom Robinson in To Kill a Mockingbird, Hassan in The Kite Runner, Sidney Carton in A Tale of Two Cities. In Ursula K. Le Guin's 1973 short story, The Ones Who Walk Away from Omelas, the reader is introduced to the splendid city of Omelas on the day of its summer festival. Omelas is a utopia where everyone we see is happy, prosperous, intelligent, and cultured with all their physical and emotional needs met. There are no class divides, no persecution, no moral hang-ups, no scarcity, no violence. With one exception. Somewhere in the city, maybe in the dank cellar of a house, there is a cramped and locked room, no bigger than a broom closet, where a child is kept in perpetual darkness and misery, naked and sitting in its own excrement, nearly starving, crying softly at the fading memories of a previous life outside the room. Quote, "They all know it is there, all the people of Omelas. Some of them have come to see it. Others are content merely to know it is there. They all know that it has to be there. Some of them understand why, and some do not. But they all understand that their happiness, the beauty of their city, the tenderness of their friendships, the health of their children, the wisdom of their scholars, the skill of their makers, even the abundance of their harvest and the kindly weathers of their skies, depend wholly on this child's abominable misery. This is usually explained to children when they are between 8 and 12, whenever they seem capable of understanding. And most of those who come to see the child are young people, though often enough an adult comes or comes back to see the child. No matter how well the matter has been explained to them, these young spectators are always shocked and sickened at the sight. They feel disgust, which they had thought themselves superior to. They feel anger, outrage, impotence, despite all the explanations. They would like to do something for the child, but there is nothing they can do. If the child were brought up into the sunlight out of that vile place, if it were cleaned and fed and comforted, that would be a good thing indeed. But if it were done in that day and hour, all the prosperity and beauty and delight of Omelas would wither and be destroyed. Those are the terms. To exchange all the goodness and grace of every life in Omelas for that single small improvement, to throw away the happiness of thousands for the chance of happiness of one. That would be to let guilt within the walls indeed. The terms are strict and absolute. There may not even be a kind word spoken to the child." End quote. The title, The Ones Who Walk Away from Omelas, refers to the people who, after learning about the child, can no longer stay in the city, can no longer participate in a society that requires such an injustice. Quote, "They leave Omelas, they walk ahead into the darkness, and they do not come back. The place they go towards is a place even less imaginable to most of us than the city of happiness. I cannot describe it at all. It is possible that it does not exist. But they seem to know where they are going, the ones who walk away from Omelas." Now, like all good stories and allegories, there are plenty of ways you can interpret this one. Maybe it's a story about utilitarianism and consequentialism. Can we accept an evil act if it's outweighed by the resulting good? Do the ends ever justify the means? Often, this ethical question is represented by the trolley problem. A runaway trolley is careening down a track, and if nothing is done, will strike and kill multiple people, let's say 5. You can pull a switch that will divert the trolley to strike and kill a single person. Do you pull the switch? A utilitarian would say, of course, we should always aim for the least harm and the greatest benefit. Pulling the switch saves a net of 4 lives. A deontologist would disagree. They would say an action is either moral or immoral regardless of the consequences. Quote, "Do what is right though the world may perish," as Kant said. Pulling a switch knowing that it will actively cause someone's death, they would see that as a greater injustice than doing nothing. Lots of stories in pop culture explore this conflict between utilitarianist and deontological ethics, Watchmen, The Avengers, The Last of Us, and on and on. But Le Guin is more interested in systems. From a deontological perspective, the citizens of Omelas are innocent. They're not pulling any switches. They didn't create the rules. They didn't put the child in the room. Rather, they passively benefit from an unjust system. So you can understand interpretations that Omelas represents our first world capitalism, where we all benefit from misery that is usually unseen but not unknown. I know the products I buy, like my smartphone and my clothing, are manufactured cheaply in the global south because workers there are paid less and have fewer protections. I consume meat and dairy products, knowing that they come from the immiseration of animals on an industrial scale. I drive to work and church in a vehicle that creates CO2 emissions I know contribute to the warming of our planet and the ensuing consequences thereof. Sure, it's a drop in the bucket of immeasurable size, but I'm adding to it bit by bit. Instead of sending drops of misery back in time to Jesus on the cross, I'm sending drops of misery to future generations. There's no ethical consumption under capitalism, and yet I participate. I haven't gone to eke out an ascetic existence in some remote mountain cave. To my great shame, I am not one of the ones who walk away from Omelas. Of course, in the most literal sense, Omelas is fictional. The rules are magical nonsense. There's no system like that in our real world, right? You might have heard of the Progressive Era, roughly the 1890s until the 1920s, a period of history when the United States enacted tremendous social and political reforms. This was a time when women gained the right to vote. When we enabled popular ballot initiatives and the direct election of senators, we passed antitrust laws to rein in abusive monopolies. Workers organized for better pay and working conditions. The government used social and medical science to address poverty and public health issues. And we got our first consumer protections and social welfare programs. What a time to be alive! Of course, another phrase that could be applied to the same time period was the Jim Crow era, the white supremacy era, the era of lynchings and sundown towns, the heyday of the eugenics movement, what historian Rayford Logan described as, quote, the nadir of American race relations. It just depends on your perspective. Some historians have suggested that this overlap of progressive politics and white supremacist politics wasn't a bug, but a feature. Not a coincidence, but a prerequisite. That white Americans were only willing to overlook their class differences, their gender differences, and their partisan differences to unite on economic and social policies because black Americans occupied a permanent underclass, a focal point for all their hatred and disdain and anxieties about a changing world, a scapegoat. That's a powerful thing. As Lyndon B. Johnson would later say, quote, if you can convince the lowest white man he's better than the best colored man, he won't notice you're picking his pocket. Hell, give him somebody to look down on and he'll empty his pockets for you. Is there an explanation for this behavior? After the election last November, our own Zach Helton gave a hopeful message about how humans evolved to help one another. I have a more cynical corollary to this theory, and it involves the phrase parochial altruism. That's the idea that humans are willing to cooperate with and sacrifice for members of their in-group when combined with hostility towards an out-group. Our ancestors made friends to be stronger against shared enemies. Identifying whom to hate and fear allows us to focus on whom to love and protect. And since humans also evolved to recognize patterns, the easiest way to differentiate between your in-group and your out-group has been through external differences, like ethnic and racial characteristics, something trivial on a DNA scale like how much melanin is produced by skin cells. But humans are innovative, and we've figured out all sorts of other ways of identifying the other. It's like a flowchart. Do they speak a different language? If yes, enemy. If no, do they have a different dialect or accent? Could still be enemy. Do they worship a different god? If yes, enemy. If no, do they believe their god gave slightly different instructions? Could still be enemy. At a certain point, people might realize that these outgroups are not the scary enemy they are made out to be. It becomes socially unacceptable to hate them so openly. And anyway, you might want some of them, the good ones, to join your in-group and make it stronger. So, like Lee Atwater said, you get abstract. Instead of targeting Jews, you target globalists. Instead of attacking black people or women or gays directly, you create thought-terminating cliches like CRT, DEI, the woke agenda. When the statistical reality of immigrant and refugee populations makes xenophobia difficult, you ascribe the negative qualities of a few bad hombres to an entire population. They're gang members, they're rapists and criminals, they're eating pets, they're terrorists, and some of them, I assume, are good people. Parochial altruism demands an enemy, and if a suitable enemy cannot be found, one will be created. And that brings me to the trans panic portion of this message. Last Monday was the Trans Day of Visibility, and I know a lot of our trans friends and siblings out there might be thinking like, no thank you. We're visible enough right now. Please perceive us a little less for just a while. And for that reason, I'm hesitant to dwell on just how bad things have gotten. I'm sorry to sully the Day of Visibility, which is meant to be a day of joy, but I think this needs to be stated for people who maybe haven't followed all the news. Barely 3 months into the year, 2025 has already seen a record number of anti-trans bills in state legislatures and Congress. 835 bills filed and 55 passed so far. That's in addition to the dozen or so executive orders that President Trump has signed, rolling back the federal civil rights protections that had previously shielded trans people from some of the most draconian state laws. The administration is pursuing a policy of trans eliminationism, attempting to ban gender-affirming care not just for children, but even for legal adults, and truncating LGBTQ+ to LGB on federal websites. Spoiler alert, those other letters will start to disappear one by one as well. Donald Trump said several years ago that Caitlyn Jenner would be welcome to use whichever bathroom she wanted in Trump Tower. It is now the policy of the Trump White House that Caitlyn Jenner does not exist. Since 2020, there have been more than 400 bills specifically targeting trans athletes in high school and college sports, 107 bills this year alone. It's obviously an issue of huge importance to lawmakers, but how big is it in like a literal sense? In December, NCAA President Charlie Baker testified to a Senate panel that out of the 510,000 college athletes in NCAA schools, fewer than 10 of them are transgender. In 2023, an anti-trans group called Save Women's Sports tried to identify how many trans girls participated in K-12 girls' teams. They claimed there were 5, as in 5, one hand. For perspective, there are more than 8 million student athletes in high school alone. Most of the states rushing to pass these laws don't have a single trans athlete in their state. To paraphrase Churchill, never was so much blamed by so many on so few. Fascists gonna fash, I suppose, but among the other ways things have gotten empirically worse for trans people are the disappearing allies. Corporations that used to honor Pride Month as recently as 2023, like Bud Light, Target, Disney World, have dropped them completely in the face of boycott and harassment campaigns. The NCAA, again, which in 2017 helped persuade the North Carolina legislature to repeal their controversial bathroom bill by refusing to hold championship events there. Apparently college sports are kind of a big deal in North Carolina. Well, they announced in February that they would comply with President Trump's executive orders regarding transgender athletes. Big tech companies, which used to have a socially progressive reputation, have retreated from policies that protected trans people. After Elon Musk bought Twitter, he immediately scrapped a hateful conduct policy that kept users from maliciously misgendering or dead-naming trans people. Indeed, it has been widely reported that this was a major impetus for his buying the site, which is now a cesspool of transphobia, with many of the loudest and most hateful voices regularly amplified by Musk himself, resulting in bomb threats at children's hospitals, and trans or gender nonconforming teachers harassed into leaving their jobs. Other tech companies aren't far behind. In January, Mark Zuckerberg announced that Facebook and Instagram would be changing their harassment policies to, quote, remove restrictions on topics like immigration and gender that are out of touch with mainstream discourse. According to those new guidelines, quote, we do allow allegations of mental illness or abnormality when based on gender or sexual orientation, given political and religious discourse about transgenderism and homosexuality. The word transgenderism, by the way, generally doesn't appear outside of right-wing dog whistles. And just this week, someone noticed that Google had quietly removed the phrase, quote, gender identity and expression from its YouTube hate speech policy. Several years ago, Congresswoman Nancy Mace represented a new kind of conservative who defended LGBTQ rights, even calling herself pro-transgender rights as recently as 2023. This year, she made headlines for using transphobic slurs in a House committee meeting and in social media posts. Maybe a definition of pro-transgender I'm not familiar with. It reminds me of J.K. Rowling's offer in 2020 when people first started noticing that she was cozying up to transphobic personalities. She said, quote, I'd march with you if you were discriminated against on the basis of being transgender. That's so awesome, Joanne. You know, whenever you're ready. I could go on and on. Not only is it still acceptable to attack trans people in America in 2025, the permission structures have expanded in the, quote, mainstream discourse. This had a fever pitch during last year's election when right-wing groups spent an estimated $215 million on political TV ads vilifying trans people. We know how that turned out. Did all those anti-trans ads swing the election? I couldn't say for sure, but it's possible. Hard to argue it didn't move the needle just a little bit. Either way, pundits and consultants on the losing side have been searching for a scapegoat, and you'll never guess who they have chosen. It's trans people. Never mind that the Harris campaign rarely, if ever, talked about trans issues, didn't invite trans speakers to conventions or rallies, didn't push back on the flood of anti-trans information, which I'm sure was a calculated decision by the consultant class who figured that any talk of trans issues would be a negative for the campaign, but I would suggest that this only added to the problem. If you're a person who doesn't pay attention to trans issues either way, and one campaign is saying at every opportunity that schools are kidnapping children and giving them sex reassignment surgeries without their parents' permission, and the other campaign isn't even going to rebut it, you might conclude that there might be some truth to the claim. Perhaps some of these people are just defensive because they want to keep having jobs in politics, and it helps if someone else is to blame for their loss. Perhaps some of them see this as a new take on the big tent party, as a purer form of democracy. Because after all, if 51-49 is a representation of the will of the people, then 99-1 must be an even purer form, right? But mostly I think it's just a failure of intersectionality. They don't care because it doesn't affect them, and they probably don't know many people it does affect. A 2023 poll that found that only 25% of Americans have any transgender acquaintances, and only 11% have a close relationship with a transgender person. When you don't know members of a group, it's easy to believe outlandish, fear-mongering claims about them, and even easier to dismiss their rights as secondary, optional. But we've gone through way too many civil rights battles to keep falling for this. Every step forward has a backlash. Every hard-won reform is only maintained by constant struggle. Gay marriage was a divisive issue in the 2004 election and probably contributed to the Democratic Party's loss. Should that have been abandoned? Conviction moves public opinion, and lack of conviction is always a loser. I may not be one of the ones who walk away from Omelas, and I hold myself in contempt for that. But I have even more contempt for those rough beasts, to borrow a phrase from Yeats, who slouch towards Omelas, chasing poll numbers in pursuit of power, as if every civil rights issue in history hasn't been an uphill battle against polls. Having already sunk the ship, they're now looking around their life raft, wondering who else they might throw overboard to make themselves go a little faster. I'm not going to be part of that journey. We can get there together, or we can sink together. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe real life is like Omelas, and there's some inexplicable cosmic force demanding that we immiserate some minority group, some tiny fraction of the population. Maybe somebody has to be in that dark cellar closet, or everything falls apart. Maybe there's power in ganging up on someone. I mean, heck, look what can be done with Drake alone. But if that ends up being the case, I have a suggestion. Let's try billionaires. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe. We're going to have a closing song and some closing words, and then we'll be dismissed. So if you guys are willing and able to stand with us, we'll invite the choir and musicians to come up, and we're going to sing an original. Mike and Rivka, one of our musicians here, wrote a piece. The music is up here, but there should be some also on your rows here, and Mike will lead us in that. Congresswoman here, Sarah McBride. We all live our lives with multiple identities, intersecting with one another, creating a mix of privileges and challenges that all people carry with us: race, gender, economic background, religion, immigration status, family acceptance, and so much more create a complex matrix that sometimes erects obstacles, but other times ensures support in overcoming barriers put in your way. Thank you so much for coming. Go in peace.